Saber-toothed tiger, also known as the Smilodon, which is an extinct species. We're going to start off by talking about its taxonomic classification. So its domain is Eukarya, its kingdom is Animalia, its phylum is Chordata, its class is Mammalia, its order is Carnivora, its family is Felidae, its genus is Smilodon, and its species is Smilodon fatalis. Now we're going into the topic about its habitats, which it lived in forests, shrubby regions, and grasslands. Now we will be talking about its diet. So the Smilodons were carnivores, and as a result had stronger physiques. With this, they would like to hunt bigger and slower animals that were herbivores, and later on in the video I'll be explaining more why they chose animals that were herbivores. Here's a cool little fact about Smilodons. There are actually 3 different types of species of Smilodons. The first one is Smilodon populator, the second one is Smilodon fatalis, and the third one is Smilodon gracilis. Now we're going to be moving into our main topics of the day, and the first one is adaptation, and we're going to be talking about its structural adaptation to the environment that it once lived in. We're going to first talk about its teeth and jaw adaptation. So on the animal, the most noticeable feature is the 2 large canines coming out of the mouth. These canines had a growth rate of about 7 millimeters per month, and it would approximately take 18 months to grow them fully. The canines themselves were so big that they were fragile. The Smilodon had adapted this flaw by placing careful attention on the way they would kill their prey. They would use a special technique which allowed them to bite into the neck, severing the nerves and vessels of the neck region of their prey. Another adaptation of the structure of the adaptation of their jaws. Their jaws were weaker than other cats with smaller teeth, and their jaws would be able to open 120 degrees. This is an essential adaptation because this would allow the Smilodons to get full use of their canines. The second structural adaptation of the body is the limbs. So although Smilodons had great lengths of canines to kill their prey, they had to be able to knock down their prey, for which they used their limbs in this circumstance. This is a significant adaptation to the survival of Smilodons because they would not be able to feed without knocking down the prey. And what made the limbs so powerful to do this is because the limbs were being pressured constantly by the muscle of the body. The muscle kept pulling on the bone, and the bone's response was by getting stronger. With this, a Smilodon had more powerful muscle and thicker bone, which then helped with the Smilodon when wrestling down its prey. We're going to move away from adaptation and go into variation. One variation of the Smilodon is sexual dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism is a distinct difference in size between the sexes of an animal in addition between the sexual organs themselves. Many sexual dimorphic Smilodons are related to bite strength. The sexual dimorphism is an evolutionary adaptation to the intraspecific resource partitioning. What this is the animals that are members of the same species compete for the limited resources in the ecosystem. This is very true because males did have thicker upper canines and stronger bite forces that would allow the males to hunt larger prey than the females. And so the second variation is the carbon isotope ratios. So this is a variation of diets in different Smilodons, and this also determined if the Smilodons preferred a prey that had kind of a carbon 3 or carbon 4 diet. So carbon 3 is a 3-carbon intermediate, and a carbon 4 goes to a 4-carbon intermediate. Smilodons would achieve its great lengths by following the development strategies of lions and tigers. What this means is that Smilodons consumed animals who ate a carbon 3 diet, just as lions and tigers did. We're going to be moving into our second main topic of the day, which is mass extinction. There are actually 2 theories developed of the mass extinction of Smilodons. The first theory developed for the mass extinction of Smilodons was the cause of humans. About 15,000 years ago, when humans first developed, what humans did was disrupt the equilibrium of ecosystems by competing with the top predators such as Smilodons. And what an equilibrium is, in which opposing forces are balanced. The second theory developed is the cause of the La Brea tar pits. When the prey of Smilodons were stuck in the tar pits, Smilodons were baited into the tar themselves. When this would happen, they would become stuck there and they would starve because they would not be able to get food. This may have led to the extinction of Smilodons because there's thousands of fossils found by us today. When they became stuck in the tar pits and died there, their fossils were very much preserved, which allowed us to discover them, and this leads into our next topic about fossil records. Moving into the third topic of the day, fossil records. The fossils of the Smilodon were recovered mostly in the La Brea tar pits in California. Thousands of fossils were found, and many more fossils are to be found till this day. What these fossils say about Smilodons is that they were not just scavengers, but they're also active predators. Fossil records also show evidence of Smilodons hunting in groups. This is because there were found fossils that had injury showings, but were healed so that they were able to hunt again. When animals are injured, it is unable to hunt and get food and would starve to death. But since they hunt in packs, those who were able to hunt were able to provide food, that of an injured animal. The discovery of these fossils will also allow us to find where they generally lived 15,000 years ago, which falls into the final topic of the day, which is biogeography. Our fourth and final topic of the day is biogeography. Biogeography is the study of the past and present distribution of species and populations. Smilodons lived in a variety of places around the world, but were mostly found in the southern and northern America, Central America, and western South America. Smilodons also thrived in Asia and Africa. And now, to conclude our video, now we're going to be doing a summary recap of what we talked about today. We analyzed the different adaptations and variations of the organism, the theories for the mass of extinction, the recovered fossil records, and the biogeography of Smilodons. With this, we are able to see the evolution time of the Smilodon and see how it has adapted to its flaws and of the major component of the teeth and jaw. And this evolution of the Smilodon had a very interesting history. That is all I have for you today. You'll see me next time. Zito out. Peace, homies.